All right, we're so glad to have you back. It's time to take a look at the dailies, the headlines specifically this morning. And we're being joined by leadership and communication strategist, Dr. John. Good morning. And,
good morning.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good morning, Dr.
Right.
Yeah.
What an exciting weekend it was.
Busy, exciting, and I was actually monitoring to see
All right.
how the thing will go.
And it went somehow.
Yes.
Okay, Daily Trust, it's our first paper this morning. How Atiku emerged as Buhari's main challenger. Tambuwal, Saraki, Kwankwaso, Dankwambo set for Plan B. We hear this gentlemen have already been given the automatic ticket for the Senate. Okay, but let's look at that outcome.
Yeah, the outcome really fantastic, if you ask me. It's not, if you're very partisan, extremely partisan, you will not be able to see the reality of things. The way things are now is a 50-50, and this is what I mean. There are two major challenges facing the nation now, corruption and disunity. And all of them, when it comes to perception, all of them has only scored 1-1. When it comes to corruption fight, either we like it or not, perception, President Buhari is a man who will not steal. That is the word perception, and I believe in that fact. But the other person has a perception that is not too good when it comes to corruption and fight against corruption. Now, when it comes to unity or disunity, President Buhari has not scored well. And this other one has a
also based on perception.
Yes,
right?
also based on perception. Okay. And this other man has a pan-Nigerian outlook. It's a person that everyone can easily relate to. Everyone can easily relate to that fact.
So you think those two issues will determine who emerges in 2019?
Majorly. The third one is silent, which is money.
All right, let's move on.
And they both have money.
Very quickly, we'll still be looking at these issues, of course, later in the show. APC primary, how Buhari's votes compare to 2015. Of course, we hear some 14 million people voted.
Yes.
Is it a laughable thing?
Why no, I was thinking maybe e-voting also applied.
I think you've said it all.
Okay.
Let's just leave it. 8 South African police officers in court over murder of Nigerian. Okay, maybe some people will have to answer to this latest killing of a Nigerian. How many have died in the last how many years?
We can't actually number
South
them.
Africa.
This has become consistent, the level of violence in South Africa, especially against Nigeria, has become very alarming. And the government needs to do something very urgently, apart from this just sitting in Nigeria and thinking that the office in South Africa, the High Commission there will do something. I think that it's about time for us to raise a high level delegation from here to South Africa and seriously discuss
it's not the first time we've done that before.
And let them understand the importance.
The National Assembly has led
a delegation to South Africa. What came of it?
The Nigerian minister has gone there before and all of that. I wonder what the outcome of all of
all right, Obieze Kwesili, others get presidential tickets. Okay, she might just turn out to be the first female president of Nigeria if she has her way. Funding gap. Clear your throat.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see.
Funding gap for FG's budget widens as revenues fall short. Okay, let's leave it there.
But it will be a good thing. Obieze Kwesili is someone who has a good standing in the minds of Nigerians. The point is the next paper now. Atiku makes fresh moves to get OBJ's blessing as he prepares to tackle Buhari. Well, he is welcome. OBJ's aide is saying that. That's PDP's business, says Odigel Yegun. Well, we'll support opposition candidate to oust Buhari in 2019. Afenifere, others declare. And former VP has the experience. Bukno Akerele is saying that. Now, there was this interview, in fact, there was a panel interview that the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, was, and the statement credited to him saying that if he supports Atiku, that God will not forgive him. I wonder if that is kept behind now.
I think if you study the person and the personality of the former president, he doesn't like, maybe every one of us, he doesn't like to belong to the losing side. But the way it is now, this time, I see him losing if he does not align with either of Buhari or Atiku. And
there's the third force phenomenon.
Where's the phenomenon
there could be some undercurrent somewhere.
Where?
Besides the APC and the PDP.
Mike, there's no undercurrent anywhere.
You think so?
I know so. Because you come to think about it, Now we talk about, they even talked about COP the other time. Now I think the COP has broken. We've not heard anything about CUPP. Now, apart from the COP, there are other
What broke the COP?
there are other smaller political parties that at least we were hopeful that if these people can come together, politics is a game of number. Either we like it or not. You know, I said it the other time, and you were asking me why. That PDP at a point was a good product that was not marketable. It was a good product because they have the structure all over the nation. So now, before you can win at that level of presidency, you need the structure, and you also need the mindset of the Nigerian people. Unfortunately, it has not totally changed from where we went in 2015.
All right. Let's see how things play out in the next few months. Over 360,000 candidates may not secure university admission this year. Investigation is saying that. Well, okay, it's really an investigation. My defection from PDP to SDP was strategic. Senator Barnabas Gemade of Benue, from Benue, saying that. Lagos APC, Ambode, and the challenges before Sanwo-Olu, right? And public office holders must be clean from credit default. That's Pupola saying that. Okay, that's the point newspaper.
Okay, and to the Nation, 2019, Buhari, Atiku, set. It almost sounds like get ready, set, and go. Nigerians are yearning for the return of PDP to power. History has beckoned on all of us at this point in time to make sure that PDP is returned to power. That's according to Atiku. And Buhari says, under that government, the country's reserves were depleted. Nigerians should ask the PDP what it did with National Treasury. Let's move on to other things now. Oil firms to refine 20% of crude output locally. How much difference will that make? And that's actually coming from... is it Tibe Kachuku? Well, his picture is
yes,
there.
you see, it's disappointing if after 3 years of this government, what we hear is that we are still going to refine 20% of our planning to. It's really, really disappointing because I was sure, I was almost certain when this government was coming on board that President Buhari was going to work on security and tackle the challenge in the oil sector because he has a wonderful knowledge of some of these sectors. So now at this point in time, if we are talking about 20% local refining capacity, then you ask yourself, what is the original capacity of our major refineries across the country? If
Will it even close the gap? Will it meet
Of course, if we refine 20%, it's going to close the gap. But it's disappointing. We are still hoping to.
Akala picks ADP governorship ticket. Eagles won't underrate Libya, says Moses Simon. And Omishore there, deal with APC in Oshun by SDP. Okay, that's it from the Nation.
All right, let's move to the New Telegraph now. 2019, Atiku gave Buhari a robust fight. Bakari is saying that, and multiple riders there. President's campaign, PDP candidate lacks credibility. Okay, and ex-VP chides clueless in quote there in parentheses. APC government, Lords Obasanjo. All right, and you see the bold picture there, the two men that the two gladiators, 2019 presidency, it is Buhari versus Atiku.
Now,
we've talked enough about that. We'll discuss more.
I think this is my community and it's my constituency, and I need to briefly talk about it. That in a country where life expectancy is put at somewhere around 52, because it is higher for women, 53. For women is 54. For men is 52. That's why we have many landladies than landlords. But that's not where I'm going.
Where is that happening?
If we have, in a country where we put that life expectancy at that point, if we have a 70-something-year-old people jostling for power, then it comes to the issue of traditional leadership that I talked about. Now, the issue of traditional leadership, from another perspective, is in that once you install a traditional ruler in a community under leadership, he knows that he wants to rule for life. So we have imported this ideology of traditionalism into politics. That is why when somebody is even 80 years old, he still thinks, oh, I need to continue. Go ask them in Cameroon, what's our neighboring country? Cameroon. I think they are even having an election. Biya is contesting maybe for the 5th time since 1980-something. So traditionalism we have imported into governance through democracy, and it's really sad.
Okay, we'll see how it plays out. PDP presidential aspirants to pick governorship and senatorial tickets. The other paper said automatic tickets for all of them. Okay.
Okay,
that's
finally.
the New Telegraph.
The Punch, presidential ticket, Atiku begins search for running mate. Doesn't he already have an idea who his running
No,
mate
no,
will be?
at that point, from yesterday, it certainly will not be clear.
All right.
It's a little bit complex and a little complicated at this point in time, because you're caught in between actually picking from your zone of strength, which may be from the southeast, because you cannot talk about South-South now.
Why
because
not?
the South-South
Why not
is
South-South?
having the national chairman of the party.
Okay.
So if you look at it from that angle, now, should we pick from Southwest? That should be the question of the PDP. If they pick from the Southwest, that means that they want to actually divide the vote, because APC obviously is going to pick from the Southwest. So it's a lot of thinking, and a lot of thinking has to go into it.
And you also have to get the dynamics of a sellability of a candidate. Because whoever your vice presidential candidate is also goes a long way.
Yes, and the possibility
But you know what? Many Nigerians are actually waiting for the time when zoning and federal character and all of that would not be a factor in choosing.
Then we may wait forever.
I think Nigeria is a very peculiar environment, that the zoning is what solves a lot of problems.
Well, is it really solving any problem? That's a question. Obiaza Kwesili, Donald Duke. Donald Duke is in the race.
Yes.
Mustafa, former aide to late Abacha, has also joined race, though he wasn't there actually to receive that. Okay. And we're ready for 2019 polls, Shomole tells opposition. Okay, let's just leave that. President denies asking El Rufai to initiate Shehu Sani's recall from Senate. This Shehu Sani issue has been causing a lot of confusion. Well, two Sanis actually going for
Uba Sani and Shehu Sani.
I think if you look at his case very well, when he got to the National Assembly, it was very difficult to define where he belonged. At every point in time, you see him sometimes maybe supporting the president, and sometimes telling the truth to power. And telling the truth to power is the most dangerous assignment anybody can embark on, especially when you want to remain relevant in politics.
Is it going to cost you?
Of course it's going to cost you. In politics, people play up that than truth. So even when you want to tell the truth, you are telling it in a way
but
that
he has been consistent in such a way that his own supporters in his constituency love him for what he's doing and the way he's doing it.
So if he knows that, then let him leave the APC and get maybe ticket of some smaller parties.
But he said he's a party man and he has to stick to because when others were defecting, he decided to stay put.
All right, human rights violation getting worse in Nigeria. Others, according to CSOs, that's at the top of the punch there, the masthead. Human rights violation getting worse in Nigeria?
We may not be able to measure it in reality, because there are a lot of unreported cases of violations here and there, and abuses, and because we do not have the figure, we can't tell whether it's actually increasing or decreasing, but they are everywhere.
Let's go. Mother accuses Lagos hospital of killing son with wrong medication. Navy shots illegal maritime academy, arrests proprietor and teachers, and restructuring should be precondition for electing next president. That's Tunde Bakari of the latter.
We have come again.
Okay.
Restructuring again.
Come again.
Dr. John, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. Thank you. Right.